My name's Tyson Aflalo.
Nader Paradian.
Emily Rosario.
Richard Anderson.
I'm Deb Olette.
My name is Nancy Smith.
We're working on projects like the one we have in collaboration with Caltech and Casa Colina to develop new techniques and ways to monitor the brain and enable people to have more function.
We really want to enable tetraplegic patients, this very vulnerable patient population, to have some autonomy in their daily lives again.
Casa Colina became involved in this study with Caltech and UCLA through a collaboration that we already had with UCLA. Dr. Prady and I have been collaborating and starting to work together and discuss some different ideas for studies.
And our research brought us to the point where we thought we could move from animal studies to human studies.
As this new opportunity arose with Richard to do this type of research, it was the natural place for me to turn to say, we need a partner on the rehabilitation side to manage the subject that we enroll in the study, and Casa Colina was the first place I turned to.
You need a big commitment for a study like this to make it successful. You have to have brain surgery, so it's not everyone's cup of tea, so you had to find the right participant and the person that you think is going to really invest.
Probably couldn't have recruited a better volunteer than Nancy, as she's been a great partner in our research.
This research study is covering areas outside of my understanding most of the time. One particular part of the brain and the neurons that are connected to the chips in my head and a computer are recording the neuron and the neural activity and how I think about things when I'm giving a task. I just use my brain to think about moving objects that are on a monitor. Although I can't move any part of my body other than my shoulders and my head, I'm able to use the neurons in my brain to move things on a monitor.
Really breathtaking to watch these sessions. The subjects are just sitting there thinking, and they can control things.
In the case of Nancy, she really enjoyed playing piano. And one of the things she wanted to do is maybe she could play piano again.
We've been able to try to interact and get those motor neurons that actually control the fingers through the computerization to be able to control a keyboard on the computer screen.
We hope this research for future patients will enable them to interact with their environment in ways that they couldn't with their paralysis.
I have to depend on people to do everything for me. I mean, scratching my nose is, I have to ask somebody to do that.
They'd be able to do activities of daily living like grooming or feeding or cooking, these sorts of things they couldn't do before.
But when I come home and use my iPad and I stare at something, I'm expecting it to open. I'm expecting it to perform like things do when I'm working with the guys in the lab.
Nancy's really proven to be an ideal candidate for this study. I think she really understands the value of what we're doing, and that makes the research much more productive than it could have been otherwise.
She just seemed like she was ready to sign on the dotted line right away. She was so excited in the research, which is really unique and really special.
She has provided critical data that is leading to further grant application and even more exciting science.
It's been fun to grow together in what they're doing, and they make me feel that I'm very much a part of what their research is about, and that makes me feel important.
When Nancy started with the research, she had definitely kind of put herself in her house and isolated herself, as many people do after an injury such as Nancy's. During the research, as we got to know her, you see Nancy start blossoming. She had a purpose, she had a role, her humor is coming out. It's the Nancy that I knew was there.
We put a big burden on her, and she's come through with flying colors. It's just been a real pleasure.
You don't see people out in wheelchairs. They tend to stay home, tend to be isolated. Much of the science research is probably going to help years beyond my lifetime, and that's where I'd like to see my efforts go into, because there's going to be something more that I am able to do. It's not over yet.